challenge where he has it land and stand up. That's what it's been reduced to. Unsuccessfully.
From strict dress codes to a ban on breaking backboards, yes, seriously, the NBA has some rules that might leave you raising your eyebrows. In this video, we're diving into some of the most bizarre regulations NBA players have to follow. And later, the story behind the NBA's social media policy might just blow your mind. When it comes to gambling, the NBA doesn't play around. The league enforces one of the toughest anti-gambling policies in professional sports. No player is allowed to bet on anything related to the NBA. That includes regular season games, player stats, G League events, and even WNBA matches. Why? Simple. If players were allowed to gamble, it could compromise the integrity of the sport. Imagine a player betting on his team to win and pushing himself to the limit, or worse, betting against his own team and deliberately underperforming. Even betting on personal stats like rebounds or points could lead to shady manipulation. To prevent any such risks, the NBA's rules are crystal clear. No betting on games, player props, or anything connected to the league. And it doesn't stop there. Players are also forbidden from betting on games they're not participating in, whether it's a regular season game or a playoff matchup they're watching from home. This zero-tolerance approach ensures the league remains free from conflicts of interest and maintains its reputation. Breaking this rule isn't a minor infraction. It can ruin careers. Just ask Jonte Porter. Porter, once a rising talent for the Toronto Raptors, was banned from the NBA for life in 2024 after being caught in a gambling scandal. He shared confidential information about his health with a known gambler before a game. That led to an $80,000 parlay bet that Porter would underperform. He played only 3 minutes in that game, citing illness, raising suspicions. An investigation soon revealed a deeper problem. Porter had been placing bets on NBA games for months, with wagers totaling up to $222,000, including some against his own team. While he didn't bet on games he played in, just the act of betting on NBA-related events was enough to violate league policy and end his career. This shows how seriously the NBA takes its commitment to protecting the game's integrity. Now, let's move on to another rule. Less controversial, but still highly influential: the mandatory dress code. The NBA isn't just about how players perform on the court, it's also about how they present themselves off it. Introduced in 2005 by then-Commissioner David Stern, the league implemented a mandatory dress code requiring players to wear business or conservative attire when arriving at games, attending press conferences, or making public appearances. This wasn't just about fashion. It was about professionalism and reshaping the public perception of NBA players. But the specifics are where things get interesting. Players are not allowed to wear sleeveless shirts, shorts, t-shirts, jerseys, or other athletic gear, unless it's part of a league-approved event. Headgear like hats or bandanas is prohibited during games and interviews, and visible jewelry like chains or medallions over clothing is also banned. Sunglasses indoors, not allowed. Even headphones can only be used on the team bus, plane, or in the locker room. Although the dress code was meant to elevate the league's image, it sparked controversy. Many players felt the policy unfairly targeted cultural styles, particularly those tied to hip-hop fashion. For example, Jason Richardson openly criticized the rule, especially the ban on chains, calling it discriminatory. He famously said, "You wear a suit, you still could be a crook." Just because someone dresses a certain way doesn't define who they are. This sentiment was shared by several players, including Allen Iverson, who once said, "You can put a suit and tie on a bad person, but they're still going to be a bad person." He believed the dress code was misguided and unnecessary. However, not every player opposed the rule. Legends like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James viewed the dress code as a step toward professionalism. They understood that the NBA is, at its core, a business, and with that comes a responsibility to present oneself appropriately. "Sometimes you feel lazy and don't feel like dressing up," LeBron admitted. "But this is a job, and we should look like we're going to work." By reshaping the league's image, the NBA dress code left a lasting mark. The NBA maintains a zero-tolerance stance on drug use, not only to preserve the game's integrity but also to safeguard players' health. Under the league's anti-drug program, players are strictly prohibited from using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, recreational drugs, or any other banned substances. Violating this policy can result in harsh consequences, from suspensions to lifetime bans, depending on the severity and recurrence of the offense. A recent case involved Cleveland Cavaliers forward Tristan Thompson, who was suspended without pay for 25 games in January 2024. He tested positive for ibutamoren and SARM-LGD 4033, both of which are banned by the NBA and the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. Ibutamoren boosts growth hormone levels to aid muscle growth and recovery, while LGD 4033 mimics testosterone, increasing strength and muscle mass. These substances can create an unfair advantage, hence their strict prohibition. Thompson's suspension not only hurt his career, but also impacted the Cavaliers' roster. With averages of 3.8 points and 3.9 rebounds this season, his suspension cost him approximately $726,500 in lost salary. The league's drug policy has evolved to keep pace with emerging substances. Regular testing is conducted throughout the season, and a first-time offense involving PEDs typically leads to a 25-game suspension. Repeat violations can result in harsher punishments, including permanent bans. Over the years, several players have faced major consequences. Roy Tarpley was banned twice, in 1991 and 1995, due to ongoing substance abuse issues. O.J. Mayo was also banned in 2016 for 2 years after testing positive for a drug of abuse. But drug use isn't the only behavior the league strictly monitors. To preserve order and respect on the court, the NBA also enforces tough restrictions on fighting. In the NBA, professionalism goes far beyond avoiding physical fights. It's about maintaining behavior that reflects the values of the league, both on and off the court. That's where the unsportsmanlike conduct rule comes in. While rules against fighting are specific, this one is broader. It includes any action that could disrupt the game or harm the NBA's image. Unsportsmanlike conduct can involve disrespecting referees, using offensive language, taunting other players, or any behavior that goes against the spirit of the sport. This rule covers everything from arguing with officials and swearing on the court to mocking opponents. Even when emotions run high, professionalism must remain intact. Step over the line and you'll receive a technical foul as a warning. Keep pushing, and you could be ejected, suspended, or fined, sometimes heavily. A strong example of this happened in 2016 with John Wall. During a game against the Houston Rockets, he received his second technical foul in the final quarter and was ejected. But instead of leaving quietly, he bumped a referee, an action that cost him $25,000. It was a firm reminder that even star players must respect the officials. Another serious case took place in 2011, during the playoffs between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat. Joakim Noah was caught on camera using a homophobic slur toward a heckling fan. The league responded quickly, issuing a $50,000 fine for the outburst. A more recent incident occurred in 2020 during the NBA bubble. Patrick Beverley of the Los Angeles Clippers was fined $25,000 for verbally abusing a referee. With just over a minute left in the fourth quarter of their 110-101 loss to the Denver Nuggets, Beverley's frustrations boiled over. He was given 2 technical fouls and thrown out of the game, underlining once again that the league has zero tolerance for such behavior, even in the heat of competition. It's important for players to keep their cool. But hold on, this next NBA rule might actually surprise you. If there's one thing that gets fans excited, it's a powerful dunk. So, you might be shocked to know that the NBA doesn't allow players to dunk during warm-ups. That's right. Before the game officially begins, players are expected to avoid flashy dunks. This rule isn't just there to ruin the fun. It's about protecting players and keeping them ready for the real action. Dunking before a game can lead to unnecessary fatigue, or even injury. The NBA wants players to be fresh and at their peak when the game starts. There's also a psychological angle. By banning dunks in warm-ups, the NBA saves the hype and energy for the game itself. It keeps fans and opponents guessing, when will the first monster dunk happen? This rule has existed for decades. Even though it's not always strictly enforced, players are expected to follow it. Coaches also support the rule, encouraging athletes to focus on warm-up drills that prepare them mentally and physically. It's all about focus, accuracy, and being game-ready. Now, let's move to another rule: no breaking the backboard. Yes, the NBA really has a rule about that. Smashing the backboard may look dramatic, but it's exactly what the league wants to prevent. In the past, some powerful dunkers shattered glass during games, causing long delays and putting players at risk. One famous case was Daryl Dawkins, also known as Chocolate Thunder. In 1979, he shattered 2 backboards in 3 weeks. It was wild, but dangerous. The NBA then introduced breakaway rims, which bend under pressure instead of breaking, to avoid this kind of destruction. Another example is Shaquille O'Neal. In 1992, during his rookie year, he brought down an entire backboard support system in a game against the Phoenix Suns, halting the game. Today, if a player breaks the backboard, they get a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul. The league doesn't want the excitement to stop because someone dunked too hard. NBA rules go beyond the court. One of the most important policies is the ban on firearms. Players are strictly forbidden from having guns during any league-related activity, whether it's on the team bus, in the locker room, or at official events. This rule is about more than safety. It's about maintaining professionalism. The NBA learned its lesson the hard way in 2009 when Gilbert Arenas brought guns into the locker room after a gambling dispute with teammate Javaris Crittenton. The result? A 50-game suspension and the downfall of Arenas' career. Fast forward to 2023, Jay Morant, one of the league's rising stars, was suspended for 25 games after flashing a gun on social media twice in a few months. Despite averaging 26.2 points, 8.1 assists, and 5.9 rebounds during the 2022-23 season, the NBA didn't hesitate to enforce the rule. The message is clear: no guns, on or off the court, in person or online. Let's talk free throws. Did you know NBA players have only 10 seconds to shoot once they receive the ball? This rule helps keep the game flowing and avoids unnecessary delays. Although 10 seconds might seem like enough, it can feel like nothing when the pressure is on. Some players have violated this rule. A notable case happened in the 2021 playoffs. Giannis Antetokounmpo was called for a 10-second violation in a tight moment during Game 1 against the Miami Heat. That missed free throw could have helped the Bucks stretch their lead. Another example is Dwight Howard. During the 2010-11 season, he got called for 3 10-second violations, highlighting his struggles from the free throw line. The NBA also pays attention to what players wear. One rule that surprises many is the commercial logo policy. Players can't display personal brand logos unless they're officially partnered with the league. Take LaMelo Ball, for example. Despite averaging 23.3 points, 8.4 assists, and 6.4 rebounds in the 2022-23 season, it was a tiny tattoo that made headlines. The ink behind his ear featured LF, which stands for his middle name, La France, and his personal clothing brand. The NBA stepped in quickly and told him to cover it up during games. This wasn't the first time. His brother Lonzo Ball had to hide his BBB tattoo in 2018. J.R. Smith was also told to cover a Supreme logo tattoo. The league's message? Personal branding is fine, just not during games unless it's part of an official NBA partnership. These rules aren't just about control, they're about protecting the game, its image, and its players. From what you wear to how you warm up to what you post online, the NBA is serious about preserving the integrity of basketball. So, which rule do you think is the strictest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click one of the boxes on your screen to check out more awesome content.